Good evening, and thank you so much for attending this webinar, which is being hosted by the Legal Aid Society of Palm Beach County. My name is DaVatrice Lindsey, and I am the attorney for the Neighborhood Entrepreneurial Law Project, known as NO. It launched in 2018 for individuals and for-profit small businesses. We provide residents of the Palm Beach County area the tools and knowledge to be successful in starting and or owning their small business. We also supply limited financial assistance for business registration, logo design, home occupation affidavit, and more for eligible applicants only. Lastly, we furnish webinars and podcasts regarding important business topics, such as the topic for today. I have the pleasure of introducing the presenter. Mr. Antoine U. Jackson is an accomplished financial sales professional with over a decade of proven experience in financial literacy, credit consultation, and litigation lending. Throughout his career, Antoine has worked to elevate financial and banking industries through bespoke client consulting, exceptional team building, and specialized agent training focused on integrity, honesty, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Antoine has helped hundreds of private and commercial clients navigate and resolve complex financial situations. Today, he serves as president/founder of Tao Financial Group and as a business banker specialist for Wells Fargo. Antoine also shares his knowledge through innovative financial literacy seminars geared towards teaching best practices and advancing professional development. As president of Tao Financial Group, Antoine leads a team responsible for securing funds for thousands of plaintiffs and attorneys involved in cases related to auto accidents, liability, commercial litigation, malpractice, and civil suits. At Wells Fargo, Antoine handles all aspects of advocate recruitment and training, as well as the creation of diverse promotional, outreach, and networking strategies. Prior to joining Wells Fargo, Antoine worked in a variety of roles, including business banking specialist, small business specialist, and unit manager for major companies like AT&T, Liberty National, and Washington Mutual. It is my honor to introduce to you Mr. Antoine Jackson.
Wow, thank you, Ms. Lindsey. I do appreciate that intro. I didn't expect it to be so awesome, but coming from you, I'm sure. So thank you guys for coming out to join us tonight. As Ms. Lindsey said, my name is Antoine Jackson. And today we're just here to kind of talk about financial literacy. Things that we're talking about tonight will be able to be applied for your business, but not only your business, but your personal life as well. So a brief background, a brief background into who I am again. As Ms. Lindsey said, I've been in this industry for well over 10 years. I do have a bachelor's in marketing. So my arena has typically been sales. I have about a little over 20 years in my sales under my belt. 7 years in retail marketing, and again, 5+ in the litigation funding arena. My company at first was primarily just working with attorneys and helping them out there. But after working in the arena for, like I said, over 5 years, doing that, I saw the need to be able to educate my clients on some of the basic aspects of banking and how to navigate this. So we decided to shift our focus from litigation funding to, financial literacy, because we found that there are a lot of businesses that just don't know what's out there for them. So Ms. Lindsey and I decided to get together and we'll put it together for you guys. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So I'd like to start off with a little quote here, and this is something from, if you know Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he has a lot of great content. States, we are not taught financial literacy in school. It takes a lot of work and time to change your thinking and become financially literate. That's true. A lot of people think that you can just start banking and you know your ins and outs right away. That's absolutely not the case there. Working in banking, we see clients on all walks of life there, both young and old, who just don't know the basics. And the only way they become financially literate is to actually sit with someone to educate them on the areas of what they don't know what to do. And that's where we kick in there. What's the big deal? So we're here to talk about why it's important as business owners to separate your personal finance from your business finances. There are a lot of great benefits that you get by keeping everything separate. Now I get it. You know, as when I first started my small business, when you first starting your business itself there, you do what's convenient, which you jump right into, which a lot of times entails you using your personal accounts there. And I'm not going to say that's bad as you're just starting up there, but after you start collecting some money coming in there, it's important to switch it over. The need to separate business and personal is imperative to starting the business itself there. It not only plays a significant role in how the business operates, but how it's perceived by the corporate world. That is very true. One of my mentors once told me, you treat your business how you expect it to go. So if you expect to have your business coming in and out of your personal accounts there as hobby money, you'll be perceived as hobby money. If you take your business serious, you'll be getting serious results out of that. So that's a huge thing with kind of differentiating the two, business and personal. A lot of people, they get into the groove of what it is. You know what, I've been doing this for the last 2 years. It works fine for me. There's no need to change. I understand. However, being in this role, I do beg to differ with that. So you do have more benefits for your business and personal growth by you separating the two. And we'll talk about that later on in further slides there. Here are a few reasons as to why we believe that separating your business and personal expenses are needed. You have leverage, you have your personal liability, you have tax reasons, business credit, your professional image, which we just discussed, and saves time and money. Now, leverage. This is big because a lot of times as new business owners, we are trying to get our things together, such as equipment, supplies, and a lot of times these things are expensive. If you have the funds in your account, what they would simply do is they would put a lien against your funds to kind of secure the product that you're trying to get there. Now, if you were trying to leverage your personal account as a business account with the lender, 9.5 out of 10, they're going to decline that simply because they can't differentiate what's personal and what's business. Furthermore, we have a lot of people that are married or involved with a different relationship there. If those accounts show other names tied to that, that makes the water even muddier because now this lender needs to confirm if this is an actual business or not and who's involved. They want to secure themselves. So they want to make sure that that is what it is, which is solely a business account that ties into the personal liability. If you're using your personal accounts as your business account there and you have personal transactions, now the two become intertwined to where it's a liability risk. You can say a company can come and sue your whole personal assets in addition to your business assets because they're all coming out of one account. You want to keep it separate. That way, make sure the left hand doesn't know what the right's doing when it comes to things for the business itself. This also impacts your tax reasons. When it's time to file your taxes. Now, I know a lot of us are not in the habit of keeping tons of receipts. I did try that one time and it worked all of 1 month because if you're constantly busy, keeping those little slips of paper just doesn't happen. So what a lot of business owners do now, they use their bank statements. So what happens is with me personally, when I go see my CPA there, I have a breakdown, which I'll talk to you later. But when I first started, I would give him my statements. He can go through and he itemizes what's going on for me, which makes his job easier. Now, flip the coin there. You as a business owner, you give your accountant your bank statements and it's tied to both personal and your business. Now, your accountant's going to charge you a lot more money because they now have to sift through all these transactions to identify what's what. And now that's where the time and money comes into play with that. So we want to make sure that you're making your job easy, not only your job, but the people that work with and for you make their job easier as well. Lastly, on this is business credit. This ties in just like with the leverage itself there. When you're applying for business credit and you're telling your lender that, listen, I need this $25,000, they're going to ask you about your income. And depending on the nature of your business, how large your business is there, they will ask you for proof of income, which a lot of times they'll ask you for several months worth of statements. If you send over a personal account trying to pass it off as a business, you will definitely lose the opportunity to work with that lender because They cannot differentiate what's personal, what's business, what's truthful, and what's not. So these are just some of the main reasons why a lot of business owners and a lot of us believe keeping your assets and everything separate works better in your favor. In addition to having your assets separate, there are a lot of opportunities for small businesses out there to get funding, even more so the CARES Act funding. Now, this was put in place because of COVID-19. The money first started rolling out, I believe, March 15th, and that was made available to all businesses. This is a gem. This was a gem in disguise. Now, what the CARES Act did was they offered two different types of funding out there. The two that you're probably really aware of, we have the Paycheck Protection Program, and then the newly Economic Injury Disaster Loan. The Paycheck Protection Program, or the PPP, which a lot of you guys have heard, was a great way to supplement the money that you lost because of COVID-19. Now, as a banker, we dealt with a lot of our clients who are trying to apply for this. Now, this loan, this funding was available to all businesses. They were all businesses with 500 or less employees. You could have been a sole proprietorship, an LLC, independent contractor. It didn't matter. Everyone qualified for this. I have several clients that I know of personally who are barbers. We all know barbers are their own individual boss. They've applied for this loan and they won. But the reason why they're able to do so was these barbers, even though they're sole proprietors, they separated their assets. So having your personal assets separated from your business plays to your favor. Another good thing about the PPP loan that was out there, if you apply for this loan was actually forgivable. Now, it was forgivable as long as you use the funds to take care of your employees, or they have a list of other liabilities expenses you had to pay out. As long as you're able to verify that and show the money was used, you didn't have to pay this money back. So this is free money. Now, we have a lot of our clients who try to thread the needle, I like to say. They try to, push the envelope, and they use their personal assets and their personal accounts to try to qualify for this PPP loan. I know personally there are two of my clients who actually did this and succeeded. Now, the flip side of that is those clients are now under investigation for fraud. And that happens not with just the government funding they have for you, that's with any funding. If your lender feels as if this stuff, the information they received is not accurate or not on point, or something's not matching up there, they will process you. And that's something that you want to stay away from. Once you get under any lender's radar for fraud, that opens up a can of worms that you do not want to answer to, because they will pry, they will keep on prying. And if they feel that this is deep, they will not only freeze whatever your assets are with the current institution, they will speak to any institution out there that your business or name is tied to, and will freeze all those assets as well until they get the answers or their money back. So it's imperative that you keep this stuff separate, especially when you're dealing with funding from the government or any lender, because you don't want to deal with those repercussions. Another loan that they have, another funding avenue they have out right now, which is, let me backtrack a little fast on this. Now, the PPP loan itself, that unfortunately, the deadline for that ended August 8th. Now, you had from March 27th to August 8th to submit your application. Now, there have been whispers that they are looking to start that program back up. Not sure yet, we're gonna leave it dead, but we do believe that they will come back with this program and reopen it back up. The current one, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or the EIDL loan, that one is still available for you. That also is available to all businesses. Now, where the PPP allowed your loan to be forgiven, cool things about the EIDL loan we have right here. So this loan itself is used for fix your debt, payroll, accounts payable, and other bills affected by the COVID. This loan comes with rates of low as 3.75. Now they do a credit inquiry on this. So not saying that's the determining factor, but there's a credit check involved with this. Your business can be at least 1 year, has to be at least 1 year old to qualify. 3.75 for the small businesses, 2.75 for nonprofits. This loan can be spread out over 30 years. And the part which I think is really great about this loan is your payments are deferred for the first 12 months. That is huge, especially when you're trying to operate business. You don't want to worry about having to come back here, pay your loans when you're just trying to get your business up and running, or trying to get back to running from where it was prior to COVID. So, but again, all of this requires you to have your personal account set up, and you want to have it separated. I'm going to give you an example here of what we see on a regular basis. What I've seen from a lot of my small business clients who decide that they want to go ahead and use their personal account for personal and business. So as you look here, you're looking at these transactions. You see a bunch of different things on there. You see Amazon, you see Racetrack, you see a bunch of regular, on the ends. And then the highlighted ones are the actual business transactions. Now, you as a business owner, you know what you did. Me as a financial manager, when I look at this, I just see transactions. And this is how the majority of us in the financial world, when we get things put thrown in front of us, we see the black and white. So you're telling me, yes, you have a business, you've been running this business for X amount of time here. But when you give me this statement, I just see a bunch of transactions. Oh, okay, so you're telling me that for your business, you went to Stevie B's. Not saying it's not true, but then we look right down the line here and we see Target. So they're going to find that hard to sit there and say a clear line. Yes, this is a business account. Now, I'm not saying that all these transactions are not business transactions. And, the person reviewing this, they very well may say, okay, I guess this can work here. But when you're doing business transactions for your business, you don't want to give that gray area that makes it lead for doubt. Because once your lender or anyone has doubt in anything, that's trouble for you. You want to make them ask the least amount of questions as possible. Give them your story without having to tell them the story. So this is an account here that we have, again, that's commingling your business and personal funds. This one here is an account that shows this is strictly out of a business account. And you can tell that because they're a little itemized already for you. Your ATM transactions, you have fees here. You have your electronic withdrawals that can also be accounted for your business. When they see transactions like this, if I were to receive this as a loan officer, I have more confidence in thinking that this is done as a business. And this goes back to what we talked about earlier in terms of the perception that how the corporate world looks at you. All right. If you were to do a job you're a construction worker doing a job, and I ask you your methods of payment, and you tell me my methods of payment are Cash App and PayPal. And then when we go to put that information in there, it's linked to your personal name. Although you may have done great work, they second guessed your method of operation. It doesn't sound like you're a stable company. It seems like you're a fly-by-night person who is doing, just trying to make some extra income right now. When you have these things in place, your business account, you can use my Zelle. You have different methods of which you can process your transactions. Then it's like, okay, this is the real deal right here. This person's legit. Let me get their card. Then you can match it. Yeah, this person was together with their stuff there. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with some people who did business pretty well, but just their whole packaging of how their business was presented didn't satisfy me. And as a professional, I want to make sure that everything is in line there. You don't want to give them any reason to doubt who you are and what you do. Know it, this is their company, this is their business, and that's what they do. All right. Also, when it comes to keeping your transactions and everything in line there, it makes for easier for you, a business owner, because as business owners, we understand that you have things to do. You don't want to be solely worried about what's going on with the finances. You want to be able to log in and see what went where, how, and where am I at so far. Now, what you're looking at right now, we have a transaction manager. Now, I've worked with a lot of them actually. I like to find out which system works the best for me and which is the easiest read for, what I do in my day to day. A lot of us, we're spoiled now. These phones make it easy to do business wherever you are, however you are. It's easy to take a picture of a receipt, log it, and keep records. When you have an expense manager, this does all your work for you. Now, again, you can use this as a personal account and you can plug everything in there. But then once you look at this, trying to decipher what's what versus if this was lined into your business account, which by the way, once you get an expense manager, how they work, they typically speak to your bank. So if you bank with Chase, for instance, or Wells Fargo, because that's my company. If you bank with Wells Fargo and you log into your expense manager, what their job is to do is to go in there and break down your transactions for you. If you look at the top right here, you see spending categories for the month. You have your bills, you have your food, your uncategorized, which you just have to go in there and tell it what that expense is. Once you do that, it recognizes that and it logs it for you. So when you need to know how much you spend out for this particular vendor, you log into your expense manager, boom, it's right there for you. If you need to look at trends that you have there, you can see spending over time here. Wow, I peak in September. What do I need to do to kind of make a change here? These are things that are put in place to make your life easier. If you have a budget goal, you look and see a budget set in time there, the income over time, how much money you've brought in there to see where your weak areas are. This is designed to help you to make your life easier. Now, again, you can do this yourself there. When I first started business, listen, I did this myself there. I'm not gonna lie, it was a nightmare because you have to try to figure out what's what, how much money I spend, and then try to present a sheet to my accountant that said, okay, here's my expenses. Once you have this in place here, once you're done with this, there's an area in there where you can go and hit, which will be on this left side here, reports. You hit reports there, it generates everything you see here into a few sheets that's easy to read, and you give that to your CPA. Your CPA loves you for years and years to come because you made their job a lot easier. Truth be told, if you use something like this, you can actually file your taxes yourself there. A lot of small businesses, you itemize, but this does a lot of the work for you. You just find out which system works best for you, and you go from there. Now, I will present, here are a list of a few different ones that you can work with. Now, I'm not saying that you have to choose any one of these. These are just a few areas that can definitely help you out. I myself, I'm very partial to Intuit. I use QuickBooks for my business. Which is a paid service. I also use Mint, which is a free service. Mint is phenomenal when it comes to business organization. You can go to mint.com, you register your information, you enter your banking information, and that's it. They are extremely detailed, extremely easy to read, and this is a great startup for you trying to get your business in order. Now, same thing with QuickBooks. Now, QuickBooks is a paid service, but they offer some of the same features that Intuit does. QuickBooks is a little more detailed. For those businesses that are a little more advanced, you need to kind of add some more categories to it. This is a great one for you. FreshBooks does the same thing, and so does Expensify. I'm not as versed in the other two. I think total I've used maybe 7 different expense trackers, and I'm just drawn personally, I'm partial to Intuit products. They're great, easy to use. So it's essential that you break this stuff apart there, business and personal. I always come back here because organization is key. A lot of businesses do not succeed because of organization. They're trying to figure out what's next, who's owed, where is this coming from? And these do this for you. Now, I also have a lot of business clients who don't have business accounts. They just use cash. Now, we are all taught that cash is king. And you know what? To this day, that is true. However, in the lending world, not so much, because we have to have a record of things. And some people just say, why? I just put everything through this account and call it a day. It's just that. Remember what I said. You treat this like a hobby, it'll reflect a hobby. Business accounts just put the exclamation point onto who you are. When you collect your funds, it goes there. It makes everything easy. So for those of you who don't have business accounts, I have highlighted just a few banks here. Again, you don't have to choose any one of these. I'm just showing you that a lot of these banks, they're similar. Working at a bank, when I go to another bank, they have the same services for the most part, just their version of the product itself. A lot of them offer free checking accounts. I know SunTrust, they offer free business checking accounts. Wells Fargo has a free business checking account, and so does Chase. Now, there might be some stipulation that go with those, but they are still free to you. And if for some reason you don't like using any one of those three, you don't have to. There's a bunch you can choose from. I know Navy Federal offers free services. There are numerous amounts of online free banking accounts you can choose from. The goal is to find out what works best for you. If you are a barber and you don't have a ton of transactions coming in via, credit card or debit card, and not a lot of action, you may not need an account that requires a lot of transactions to stay afloat. You have an account that's just completely free. That's fine. Start where you need to start, and then you can, upgrade accordingly. But you need to start with an account somewhere. As a business owner that's collecting money or income for your business, there's no reason why you should not have a designated place to put the funds that you came in there. It just helps you, it just helps you process and sleep better, honestly. A lot of my clients thought that it's hard work to set up these business accounts. It's not. On average, the majority of these accounts, you need anywhere from $25 to $100 max to actually open up these accounts. Now, these are not fees for you. All right, I'm going to leave it on Wells Fargo for the moment, but these are not fees. This is your money. They just have to activate the account itself there. And what's very important is once you activate these accounts, you can start making transactions right away. But do that. If you look at the Wells Fargo that we have here, minimum open balance, $25. A lot of us, we have that. We spend that on breakfast in the morning or lunch throughout the day. But it's so simple. With these accounts itself there, the ways to avoid this particular fee, you got to average $500 in the account monthly. So you as a brand new lawn care person, you know that your business does not yield you to where you can leave $500 in their account monthly, then guess what? This account's not for you. But there are other accounts that can accommodate your needs. It's important that you actually do find that though. Same thing with Chase. Ways to avoid their service: maintain 2,000 minimum, which is again our higher account there, 2,000 purchases. So you are a bakery owner and you have a lot of clients that come in with purchases. You know that you blow it out the water easily. Boom, this account may work for you. But again, don't feel like whatever account that you set up with now, you're married to that account. Absolutely not. Feel free to test the limits of any and every bank you can until you find the ones that make sense for you and your needs. So in the end, this is why we've talked a lot about, what the reason why you should actually set these accounts up there, some great habits, some tips. And I hope that someone heard something that made sense to them that, can actually help them. You have my contact information up here. In addition to financial literacy, again, we do work with both people and businesses in terms of establishing or repairing some credit talks. We work with a wide range of everything. So if it's something that you as a business owner feel that you want your children to understand, we work on all walks of life with this. So if you have any questions, my contact information is up here. Feel free to reach out to myself there, or you have Miss Lindsey's contact information as well. Reach out to her if she needs more information. We can coordinate a way to kind of help your business grow. We are here to make sure that you succeed. There are a lot of things out here that you can use that can help you. And if you don't know where to start, let us help you start and get to that point. So, Miss Lindsey.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Antoine. That information was very much needed. There are a few questions. The first question is, if I open up a business bank account, am I more likely to get approved for a loan?
So you're not more likely to get approved, but you have a better shot of getting approved. With the underwriter's job, so one thing you need to know, what the underwriter's job with any entity, that any company, lender that you go through, their job is to comb through your life and mitigate risk for them. So while it's great that you have a business account there that has some solid funds in there, they're going to look a little further into that. They're going to look into your credit profile. A lot of business loans, they want you to be established for at least 2 years. Now, there's ways around that, but those are some of the requirements to look at minimum. All right. Now, I will say, because of COVID-19, a lot of these banks have tightened up the screws with the lending just because they know that some people are using X funds to, float their lives. So they're tougher. The relationship means a lot, but that's not the only thing. That hopefully I answered your question.
Thank you. The next question is, if I have bad credit, will it be hard for me to obtain a business bank account?
If you have credit that needs repair, you do want to start there first. The reason being, again, the underwriter's job is to to dig in and see what's going on there. If you personally have bad credit, their black and white shows that your business will have the exact same because you're carrying yourself this way. So what's to say that you won't treat your business the exact same way? So you definitely want to show that your business is going in the right direction, and so is your personal. So yeah, if also, the more you apply for things, it impacts your credit negatively. All right. Every application that you submit is a ding on your credit. Now, unfortunately, we don't know how much of a ding it does hit, but it's a ding. So unless you know that you're in a credit stable situation, I would not advise going for a business loan until you know that you're in a better situation, if that makes sense.
Okay. The next question is, can a business bank account help me build my business credit?
That's a tricky one. We have a lot of our clients that ask that. The business bank account can't help build it, but they have products that will, and they'll tie together. For instance, we have a few banks out there that offer secured business credit cards, to which you need a business bank account in order to establish. That can, or secure business loans. Those are better ways to help you build your business credit. The bank account's a way to kind of solidify that you have funds, but the account itself will not help you build credit. When they run your credit, now, on the devil's advocate with that, it doesn't help you build it, but it can hurt you. And the reason being is, if you have a business bank account and you overdraw your account constantly, they're going to look at that negatively. So you can have an account that's there with money, but if they see that you have an account with money, but you are assessed, 10 overdraft fees, that looks to them as you're a bad steward with your money, and it can negatively impact you.
Thank you. And the last question is having a business savings account beneficial, or should I just get a business checking account?
Very good question. I'm sorry I didn't address it earlier. A business savings account is great to have. A lot of and actually when I say a lot, 90% of my business clients, they open their business savings account for a couple of reasons. One of the most common ones is they use that for their business taxes. There's nothing like having an account set aside just for your business taxes. So if you know that you've just taken in $1,000 worth of profits from your business, after everything's said and done, what a lot of my clients will do is they'll deduct their state's tax level and put that to the savings account. So when you file your taxes with your accountant and they say, listen, you guys owe me, $5,000 this year in taxes, you're not scrambling trying to figure out where this money's coming from. You have a whole account to the side for that. So that's one reason. Another reason they have that set aside for extra incidentals. You want to separate the funds. If you have all your money in your business checking account, a lot of times we see that and we feel as if that's what we have to work with for this project we have going on there, forgetting that we have to factor in these funds that are coming out next week or next month there. Oh, I have 10,000 right now. I can go ahead and buy supplies X, Y, and Z. And when the time comes, oh, I overspent. So having that account is great to have there, put some money to the side. We also like to think of it out of sight, out of mind. You deduct your tax money or whatever money out the top to the savings account there, is liable to stay there and help you out in the long run.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Jackson. We greatly appreciate your time and your information. There are no other questions. Thank you everyone who attended this wonderful webinar. Everyone have a very great evening and stay safe and healthy. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, guys.